Let's talk about the lion diet today at our Friday night live stream. I want to first start off with sharing my experience with the lion diet. But before I do that, what is a lion diet? We touched on this briefly last week, all the time in the meetings within the Steak and Butter Gang. A lion diet is basically beef, salt, water. Really, it's a ruminant meats, salt, water, but most people just approach a lion diet by eating only beef. Why would one go lion? I see a lot of people with a lot of autoimmune healing needed really benefit and heal quicker and smoother with a lion diet. So it's really that next step and extra modality that you can play with. If you're not necessarily getting the healing that you want, maybe even the weight loss that you want. So let me bring on my coach, Coach Alyssa, who lives and breathes the lion diet and who has received a lot of healing on a lion diet herself. So welcome. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Coach Alyssa, and yes, I've been on Lion Diet for almost 2 years, so I know it like the back of my hand, and I just see so much healing from it compared to regular carnivore.
Awesome. And how long have you been on a lion diet?
Almost 2 years.
2 years. And what has happened for you?
Yeah, so on regular carnivore, I was still having a lot of food reactions. So I was having tons of like swelling and fluid retention and things like that, a lot of aches and pains in my joints. So when I went down to Lion Diet, I actually lost 15 pounds immediately in the first 3 days of Lion Diet just from all of that inflammation. And so I've definitely seen my inflammation overall go down. And of course, many of you know I'm working on putting lupus in full remission without medication. So I'm very sensitive to these things, and just the smallest amount of seasonings or spices or dairy or eggs was inflaming me. So I've just been thriving on Lion.
Amazing. I did a beef only approach where it's just beef, like what it sounds like, around year 2 of my carnivore journey, and I did it for a good 3 to 4 months. I noticed that you really get so in tune with how you're feeling, sleep, energy. And the beauty of a lion diet or beef only is when you start reintroducing foods again, you are so acute about what food is causing runny nose, maybe congestion, and what to bring back that is safe, what to take out for good. It's just a really great reset as well. So, for everyone watching, is anyone currently on a lion diet? Has anyone ever tried a lion diet? I would love to know if you have, and do share any experiences that you want to share in the comments as well. Okay, now a little break from lion diet. And we're going to jump into Q&A next, but I really want to bring on a very special guest. She's backstage and she is actually the winner of our transformation prize in the Steak and Butter Gang. And the transformation prize, by the way, is a $1,000 cash prize. So Meniwa actually won the transformation prize. A round of applause to Meniwa. Congrats, Meniwa. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing
Yay.
good.
Amazing, amazing. So I really want you to show off the progress that you've made. Okay, so you've been in the challenge for how long? 4 months now?
I started in June and have progressed since there.
Okay.
Um,
And we also have some photos if you don't mind discussing and sharing what is going on in these before and after photos. So this is the first one. June 5th was the left photo. August
yep.
25th is the right photo. So what has happened
Mhm.
between June 5th and August 25th, please?
I've lost quite a bit of weight. I've lost close to 30, 35 pounds. And the biggest thing is my need for oxygen has gone away. On June 24th, I was taken off of oxygen during the day completely.
Oh, wow.
I no longer need it during the day. And
Incredible.
I'd been on oxygen for almost 13 years.
Wow. Do we have more photos, Lindy? I want to make sure we share all of it. Okay. Talk about what's happening here.
Big body composition changes. I'm in the picture on 25th. I'm actually starting to develop a waistline, which it was not there on the 5th of June.
Wow.
And to me, that's big.
Absolutely. That's incredible. Congratulations to Meniwa. Now, I really want to hear from Phil and Coach Alyssa because both of you guys have had the pleasure to witness Meniwa walk the path that she has this past, from June to now, the past 4 months. Coach Alyssa, what have you noticed? What do you appreciate about Meniwa?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I mean, she went from being on oxygen all the time. When she first came into the group, we would see her with her oxygen plugged into her nose all the time. And if she went anywhere, she had to take this giant tank with her. And then, I mean, within just a few months, she was not just seeing improved blood glucose numbers, not just seeing that she was able to be more active and losing some weight, but also we saw all of a sudden she didn't have the oxygen with her anymore. And I love Miniwa that what you shared just recently that you were going to the doctor's appointment and you didn't have to actually have your chair with you that takes you up the steps. Like you went up the steps, you walked without it, right? I'm not sure what that is. What kind of a chair is it called?
I actually have a power wheelchair.
The power chair, yeah. So, that's such a huge success. The fact that you were able to walk up the steps instead of having the help from your wheelchair, taking you places. So if all of this is possible in less than 6 months, getting off of oxygen and all these things, like imagine what the future is going to hold if you continue on this path. I see amazing things for you.
Well, I'm carnivore for life. I'm not going back to the SAD diet.
Oh, congratulations, Meniwa. And Phil, what do you want to congratulate Meniwa on?
Well, first off, I want to explain that her oxygen was not a little oxygen. It was actually high flow oxygen. And there are so many people that are on oxygen that have these little canisters or concentrators at home. And many of WA's need for external oxygen was so great that could only be delivered by these big canisters of oxygen. And if she went out, she would take what's called an E-cylinder, which is about the size of a scuba tank, not as fat, but as long. And it would last her about an hour or two, which means she wasn't very mobile and couldn't do things. And it would be a miracle just to reduce the flow of the oxygen, but to get off it daily so she doesn't need it during the day is absolutely amazing. I love the fact that she's cut her insulin in half during this time, and her blood sugars are doing much, much better. And our hope for her is, I really think there's a good chance in the next 4 months we can see her off insulin. So that would be fantastic to reverse the insulin resistance and the type 2 diabetes. So great job. I really love how your photos show that you now have a chin. You didn't have a chin in June. And you now have a chin. So that's amazing change in what we see in your face. And that's such a sign of healing that's occurred.
Wow. I want to take a
Thank you.
moment to just show off some of the love that you're getting, Meniwa. Tammy wants to know, Meniwa, you're amazing. You have been an inspiration since the very first Zoom that I was on. Joey, Meniwa, you're our hero. Your journey is amazing and encouraging for all of us, and so, so many. We could spend the whole hour just loving on Meniwa. But any final thoughts about your experience so far in the community, Meniwa?
Yeah, I'm a part of the SVG. I would not go anywhere else. I was a member of one other group, and I asked a doctor on there if they had heard of anybody reversing one of the health conditions that I have, and he said no, basically the same response that every other doctor has given me. There's no cure. You can't do anything about it. I came on here and I asked Dr. Obadia if he thought pulmonary hypertension could be reversed. And his response to me was yes. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm sticking with SPG and carnivore for life. And everybody I meet that I talk to about the carnivore way of eating, I tell them about SPG and that they need to come join and check you out.
Wow. Love you, Maniwa. Thank you so much for this sweet, sweet testimonial. Cher, I see that you want to learn how to join the challenge. It is linked right below in the description box. And let's just give one more big congratulations to Maniwa for winning the $1,000 cash prize for the best transformation in the steak and butter game. Bravo to Maniwa. Thank you, Maniwa. We will see you in the community. Love you. Appreciate your time for sharing today.
Thank
Love
you.
Maniwa.
Bye. All right. Well, now we can jump into the questions. So that was so awesome. Thank you, Lindy. Okay. This was actually a super chat right at the very end of our last week's live stream. So Simone, sorry we couldn't answer it. We literally ended it right when you put this in. But Simone wants to know, my 38-year-old daughter is being told she needs to have her gallbladder removed because it's impossible to heal it. Is it possible to heal through high-fat carnivore? Okay. Phil, did you want to tackle this first?
Yes, absolutely. We have seen people with both sludge and gallstones, which are all signs of a diseased, sick gallbladder, all reverse on a carnivore diet. Now, the trick is you've got the reason your gallbladder gets sick is because you've not eaten enough fat in your lifetime. And the gallbladder is an organ that's meant to contract with every meal and release bile. And when we go on these low-fat diets, for whatever reason, the doctor tells us we're trying to lose weight, whatever, our gallbladder stays static. And it's like a pond, and it gets scum water on it, right? If a pond isn't flowing, if the water's not flowing, the water gets scummy. And that's the same thing happens to your gallbladder when you don't use it. And so, first off, this is a warning to people that are eating low-fat diets because we have way too much gallbladder disease in the Western world. And we have actually seen quite a few people totally reverse their gallbladder disease, but they have to work with a plan to slowly increase the fat, usually with 6 meals a day to start out with, and to actually do what we call titrating the fat, which is starting at a small level and gradually increasing it meal by meal until you can get up to enough fat to keep your gallbladder functioning. But that's kind of the trick. And I would encourage her, Simone, to join SBG and come meet with us. We'd love to meet your daughter.
Yes. Keep us posted, Simone. All the best. Let's keep going. Oh, perfect. Thank you for the super chat. Nobody here. So nobody here is a type 2 diabetic on insulin, 90 to 95% carnivore for 4 years now. Last 10 months, 100% carnivore. Eats twice per day. Why does 250 grams of meat reliably spike my BG 54 to 90 mg per DL? Phil, why don't you take this?
So basically what nobody here is saying that they're eating 8 ounces of meat. And when they do that, their blood glucose goes up 50 to 90 points. And why is that happening? So this is going to be a little long answer, Bella, but I think it's instructive for everyone to know that this is a classic sign we see in SBG all the time of people that are under eating. And what's happening is when you undereat in your body, so you're eating 2 meals a day, but you're eating 8 ounces of meat twice a day, what happens is your body perceives that as starvation. And every time you're eating, your body is forced to release glucagon from your muscles and liver, and that immediately spikes your blood sugar because your body's perceiving you're not digesting enough calories to survive. So you start releasing cortisol, you start getting release of glucagon, which is molecules in a chain of glucose, and that spikes your blood sugar. And then your liver starts taking the little bit of protein you are eating and converting it to blood sugar. That's called gluconeogenesis. So you're basically working against your metabolic health by under eating. So nobody here, please consider eating three meals a day, probably double the amount of meat you're eating per day, and make sure you're adding some additional fat, because you're not getting enough calories right now to really fuel your body, and you need that to prevent this from happening. It's a very common problem.
Thank you, Phil, for explaining. Very good. Kathy is up. Hello, should I take all my iodine at one time in the morning or a few drops throughout the day? I'll answer this. So I'm working closely with Dr. Elizabeth Bright, and she specifically said this morning, actually, in one of her calls, you don't have to take it all at once. You can do a couple drops throughout the day. Just make sure that you're putting it in something liquid, like water, like your coffee. That way you can absorb it. Okay. So does not have to be all at the same time. Grace, I have been carnivore for 5 months now, and my ketones are very strong. Is it okay that they are running at 16 or 160, or is that too much ketones? It was running a lot lower before. Phil?
Don't worry about your ketones. Quit measuring them. You're stressing over something you don't need to be stressing over. The fact that you've all of a sudden are creating a lot of ketones means that you've done a really, really good job of fat adapting, going from a glucose-based metabolism to where your body is expecting ketones to really fuel your body. So you're doing great now. So don't worry about it. Ketogenic diet will really help you protect your muscle proteins, help you build muscle, and help you stay a lot healthier.
Fantastic. I just see an influx of people coming into the live stream. If you're new here, this is your first live stream ever, welcome. I just want you guys to know that we do these live streams every single Friday evening, and I do this with my carnivore team. So today we have the pleasure of having Phil Smith back. He is a retired MD, so do ask away all questions that we know Phil can answer. And we have Coach Alyssa down here, who's the pro of Lion Diet, autoimmune healing, and just how to do carnivore the best that you can. All right, so how to submit your questions, put a capital Q, type out your question, we will get to it. Izzy, when can I expect body recomposition to start? I'm 6 months high-fat carnivore. I gained 20 pounds in my hips and tummy, and I eat 2 sticks of butter. I cannot stop or I will get constipated, and I eat 125 grams of protein daily. Coach Alyssa?
Well, body recomposition can be slow for some people. It can happen very quickly for others. So, I don't know. It's really hard to say without knowing you and your unique situation. But yeah, sometimes we do see a little bit of weight gain in the beginning, depending on how malnourished you were. And so much of that is going straight into your lean muscle, like your lean body mass, including muscle, bone density, blood volume, organs just becoming more dense. So don't be afraid. Stay consistent, and you will see that body recomposition. I know that Bella talks about it all the time, that it took her, what was it, 6 months or more to see that?
Mm-hmm. At least a year, actually. 6 months was my weight gain period where I was just healing, gaining the healthy weight that I needed. Within that period, I quickly got my period back. So there was some deep hormone healing going on. And then it was after a year where my ravenous appetite started to finally calm down. So Izzy, it just sounds like you really need the high fat carnivore diet. 2 sticks of butter is incredible. Like that's actually very, very good in healing. With the gaining of 20 pounds initially, you're only 6 months in. I would say keep at it, give it a full year. Don't waver. Like, do not doubt that because of this weight gain, something is wrong. I gained about 25 to 30 pounds myself. I know how tough it can be, but I promise you it will be worth it. Keep us posted in these weekly live streams, please.
Yeah, I want to add that,
Sure.
the real benefit of carnivore is re-regulating your hormones in your body. And most of us have come from a background where we have downregulated and upregulated a lot of hormones in a bad area. And I absolutely want to encourage you to give yourself a year. And I tell people I'm more excited seeing people who've been carnivore for 2 years to 2 to 3 years, because that's when people are really doing very, very, very well. So don't get discouraged after 6 months. You're just going through a phase that you have a lot of healing to do. And it's not a race against anyone else. It's a journey that you're taking for yourself to get your hormones regulated and keep your metabolism healthy for the rest of your life.
Perfect. Thank you both. Okay. How much salt? How much salt? Alyssa?
Ooh, good question. It's going to be different for every person. I would just say that most people are getting a lot less salt than they need. So maybe just try to increase your salt and see how you feel. And I would encourage you to increase your salt in between meals, not necessarily just salting your food more heavily, but there's so many hours out of the day that we're not getting salt, and we're getting all this purified water that we're drinking with no natural sodium, no natural minerals. So, yeah, I really like to just put a little pinch of salt in all of my water, or maybe use a little bit of Soleil water. So increase and see how you feel.
Phil, did you want to add about salt?
Well, I think they'd be interested to hear that you don't add salt at all, right?
I
still
try
don't
not
add
to
salt?
talk about it. I really try not to talk about it because it is such a rare case. I'm just one of a few. I've been in the carnivore community for 7 years, and I think I can name 10 people, 2 handfuls of people that I know thrive off of 0 salt. And it just happens to be that we just thrive off of it. And every time we experiment bringing back the salt, electrolytes, we just don't feel as good. Okay. So I feel like this is more rare than common, but I just feel my best without salt. However, right now, I'm eating a lot of raw cheese. I'm eating cottage cheese. Sometimes I'm getting like raw cottage cheese with salt in it, not always unsalted. I'm eating meatballs. Okay. There's salt in these foods, and I'm doing just fine. But it's because I made a change in my life recently that is quite a big change, which is 3 dumbbell workouts every single week. So it makes sense to me. I'm sweating a little bit more. I'm working hard in the gym 3 times a week consistently. Maybe that's the change that my body needed to start doing better on salt. But when I was deep healing and I was doing nothing but light steps because I was healing, I didn't need the salt. Does that make sense? So I think it's just so personal.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as because Bella is no salt, that means I should be no salt. Please do not learn in that fashion.
Yeah. Yeah. I always salt my steaks and dry brine them in the refrigerator. So I salt them very, very heavy on both sides, put them on a wire rack, and I'll buy 4 ribeyes at a time, usually pound and a quarter ribeyes, and I'll eat one of those a day. So the first one is dry brine for one day, and the second day, the third day, the fourth day. So they're all on the rack together. And I'm very generous with the amount of salt that I put on the outside. But so that's how I get my salt. And it really, when you get the outside of a steak really, really dried out, and then you put it in an air fryer, it's unbelievable how good it is. So, and
I believe
the
it.
salt penetrates through the steak. So it's really good. So I used a lot more salt though when I first went carnivore. And
Mhm.
I think I think what you said is so true, that you salt to taste, that's a good way to go. If you're not
Love it.
craving it, don't feel like you have to have it.
Perfect. Great advice. Okay, this is fantastic because it's right on theme for today's video. What is the difference between a carnivore diet and a lion diet, if you don't mind, Alyssa, going into detail?
Of course. Well, carnivore diet is just any animal-based food. So if it had a face or a mom, it's carnivore. Or if it came from it, like dairy or eggs, those come from animals that are, have a mom or a face. So lion diet is going to be ruminant meat, salt, and water only. So the ruminants are beef, bison, lamb, goat, elk, deer, those grazing animals. So that's all it is. Ruminant meat, salt, and water. That's the lion diet.
Perfect. And I'll just define what a carnivore diet is in comparison to lion. So for me, the main difference is lion, just red meat, right? Red meat, salt, water. So actually, Alyssa, does a lion diet mean also no caffeine to you?
I mean, technically, yeah, the lion diet does not include caffeine. I did keep coffee in for the first year of my lion diet journey, so it is possible, and you can still get a lot of healing from lion diet plus coffee. But I will admit, I did get a whole new level of healing once I quit the coffee, but
Yeah.
not everybody has to do that. I'm working on a lot more healing than most people.
Totally, but such a good point to make. A lot of us don't even think about that maybe caffeine and coffee and tea is the culprit of anything until somebody says it out loud. And guess what? Phil is on a lion diet himself. Do share about your experience so far.
Well, I want to confess two things. So, um, I went caffeine free, or I went coffee free starting, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, okay? And I have lost weight every day since I stopped the coffee, and my sleep monitor shows I'm sleeping deeper every night. And only been on the lion diet since Monday was my first day. So, um, Coach Alyssa twisted my arm on Sunday and convinced me I should at least give a trial. So I committed to 14 days, but I committed tonight to Alyssa to 30 days. And we'll see. I haven't felt any different yet, but it's too soon to tell. So I'm just doing some personal experience to see what it's like. I have seen such a transformation, Alyssa. You just cannot believe. Just everything, body composition, confidence, mental health, just the glow, and um, her whole countenance has changed since I've gotten to know her, and it's amazing. So, if you're curious, and I really think the light diet is not necessary where you should start as carnivore, but I think a trial of the light diet is a great elimination exercise for everyone. And I would challenge most people to do 30 days of ruminant meat, which is things like lamb and beef, salt and water, and just do that for 30 days. And then add in the other things you like, pork, eggs, and see what happens. And add one new thing in a week and then see what happens. I used an elimination diet with my dad at age 94 and found out he was reacting to onions and having polymyalgia rheumatica, which flared when he reintroduced onions into his diet. And he had been on prednisone steroids for 35 years. And he's now 96 years old. He's down 72 pounds. And he's not been on any prednisone for a year and a half. And if he can do this at 96, you can do this too.
That's phenomenal. What a wonderful testimonial. And since we're on the topic of lion diet, let me just tackle some FAQs about lion with you, Coach Alyssa. And this could just be a little mini Lion Diet 101 video once it just lives on the internet after we go live. So, Coach Alyssa, for new carnivores, they want to start this lifestyle for the first time. Do you recommend that they jump straight into a lion diet? Why or why not?
No, I actually just recommend try carnivore. If you don't have to go down to lion diet, then don't. Please enjoy all the carnivore foods. Lion diet can be, just very boring for a lot of people. And when you're making such a drastic switch from whether it's the standard atrocious diet or, vegetarianism, veganism, anything, to carnivore, there's an adjustment period. And so I highly recommend just going to carnivore first. And then if you're not getting enough healing from that down the line, you can try lion diet.
Beautiful. So, not eating enough slash not eating enough fat is a big mistake that we see a lot as a team helping people go carnivore. How does one get enough fat on a lion diet?
Yeah, so well, there is the butter of the gods, also known as bone marrow. It is very butter-like. You can eat it raw, which is absolutely delicious, or roasted. And it really just makes you can use it as like a cream sauce almost to mix in with any like pull apart meat. It just changes the texture and taste amazingly. And then there's like beef fat trimmings. You can eat suet raw, which is just amazing and healing. And then just tallow. Any tallow, you can get it from beef, bison, lamb, or any ruminant, and it's really amazing.
Fantastic. And then for someone who does like variety in meals and textures, what are your favorite go to meals that you enjoy on a lion diet for variety's sake?
For variety, yeah, definitely. So, you know, there is plenty of different ruminants to choose from. Like beef tastes very different to bison. And again, with lamb, also, the textures and the flavors are so different. But even within this one animal, let's take ground beef, for example. You may get bored of it if you're just frying up the ground beef in a pan every day. But you form it into a little meatball and fry it in the air fryer. It gets a crispy, crunchy outside. You get that Maillard reaction, and it tastes like a completely different meal. So I think switching up the cooking methods and switching up the ruminant where you're getting the meat from, also just trying soups and stews like oxtail soup versus just ribeye steak every night. That all these things provide plenty of variety.
Fantastic. Now, you've worked with thousands upon thousands of new carnivores, advanced long term carnivores now within the community. If you could just give a recap, what types of people benefit more from a lion diet versus what types of people benefit more from just a carnivore diet?
People who are sensitive to anything, let's say, for example, they're having skin issues like rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, or they're still bloated. They're like, I've been carnivore, I've been really strict, and I'm still just having this bloating or this arthritis. If you have any kind of pain or swelling, or any skin issues that even weight issues that they won't seem to budge, and you've been really dedicated to carnivore, then I think that lion diet is a great way to rule out any food reactions that your body might be having.
Beautiful. And final question. Would you say a lion diet is meant to just be a healing phase, or it can also be a long term experience?
Well, it is great as a healing phase, and people are welcome to do that. But it's totally possible to just be on it long term. There's absolutely nothing that you'll be missing out on nutritionally, especially if you're eating nose to tail, including all of the connective tissues, the organs, and everything. You can get everything you need from a lion diet, and you cannot say that about any other diet.
Thank you for the Lion
So,
Diet Masterclass. Yeah.
So
Go
I,
ahead, Phil.
I went and got a prop. So since I've been lying, so this is my tallow bark that I make.
Wow.
And so
Nice.
I'll eat my meat at the meal. And then if I'm still hungry, I will eat pieces of tallow bark. And I make this by pouring my render fat from my ribeyes and all my beef into a glass Pyrex and put it in the refrigerator. And then when it's hardened, I break it up into chunks. They're all different size. I throw them in a bag, put them in my freezer, and after every meal, I have helped myself to my tallow bark, and I just love it. I actually feel like I'm eating the bark that you used to eat at Christmas. You know, the peppermint bark.
Mhm.
It's almost makes your brain think that you're eating white chocolate, and
Mhm.
it's actually a treat, and it's very satiating. A great way to get your fat if you're going to a line.
Great tip. Thank you for sharing that, Phil. Looks delicious. Okay, let's keep going. Back to questions. Olivia wants to know, can loose stools from a high-fat carnivore diet cause weight loss? Wow. What a question. Phil?
Um, depends on how much you're having. Loose stools are part of adaptation that people have, and it usually takes a while to get over it. But we did have somebody who was having loose stools and diarrhea to the point that she was getting dehydrated, and I had her go and get tested with her doctor for stool test and found out she had a colon infection. Um,
Hmm.
it was totally unrelated from her adaptation. So a little loose stools are not going to cause you weight loss, but if you're having explosive diarrhea all day long, that's usually a sign that you've unmasked something else, like candida in your colon or C. difficile infection or something else, and probably ought to check in with your doctor if you've got something like that going on. But typically, loose stools in and of themselves isn't going to cause a lot of weight loss. Okay.
Sounds good. Share Bear, how can we join the challenge? Let me just put up the banner for an easy URL, sbgmeetup.com. And if you guys want that clickable link, it's always going to be in the description box. And yes, this is the same place where our members win the transformation prize of $1,000 in cash. We also do multiple big prizes like air fryers, subscriptions for meat. We do carnivore bars, carnivore crisps, tallow skincare, and also like 200, 300, 400 cash prizes for other types of things like activity prizes and more. But the $1,000 is, I would say, the biggest prize we give in these challenges. Okay, so it's all in the same community, same place. Anna, what do you do to maintain when you hit your goal weight? Alyssa?
You just keep doing what worked. So whatever got you there, I mean, this isn't like so many people consider the carnivore diet or the lion diet just a temporary fix, like these other diets they went on in the past. And that's just the cycle, right? You go on a diet, you lose the weight, and then as soon as you hit that goal weight, you can relax and go back to what you were doing. But what happens? You gain the weight back. And so carnivore is sustainable. You're not missing out on anything. There's no reason to cycle on and off. So if you hit your goal weight, keep doing what you're doing. There's no need to change.
Yeah, I want to add too that we have a lot of people come in the community that are underweight, like Alyssa, who actually need to gain weight, and they come up to normal weight too. So carnivore is not inherently a weight loss program; it's a metabolic health reset. And so remember that your body will find a set point and find a place where you're functioning at your optimal. And the goal should not always be to lose weight, but it was to let your body be at optimal healing and performance. So let's keep that in mind too.
Good point.
Love it. Yes. All right. Jennifer's next. Welcome. I had to take strong antibiotics to get rid of a nasty UTI. What is the best way to restore the gut microbiome? Phil?
Well, there's some different theories on this. Um, my preference to most people is just eat carnivore, but um, usually the microbiome will take care of itself when you just eat fatty meats and water and salt of any type. But Dr. O'Mara and some other people do recommend using fermented foods as an adjuvant to help your microbiome. I haven't seen a lot of people that need to do that, but some people swear by it. So I would first just not worry so much about it, see what happens. If you're starting to have a lot of loose stools, consider the fermented foods. And Bella has a whole list of things that she does. Kefir, which is fermented, is it milk or cream?
It is fermented milk.
Okay, fermented milk. But kimchi is another one. Sauerkraut that's fermented would be something Dr. O'Mara would recommend. I don't think you need to go that route. There are plenty fermented cheeses and fermented milk, that kefir, that you can get that keeps you carnivore. And I think it's probably, if carnivore alone's not getting you where you want to be, I would try the fermented dairy first.
Beautiful. Let's keep going. Aisha, welcome. Bella, how long did it take for your hormonal symptoms to start resolving on carnivore? Trying to heal PCOS, and I've been going strong for 2.5 months. I know it takes time, just trying to get an idea. Well, I got my period back within 2 to 3 months of high fat carnivore. And to give you an idea of just how fat I personally was eating, I was eating 1 to 2 sticks of butter per day, plus anywhere from 4 to 5 pounds of fatty meat and as many eggs as I wanted. So I was eating more than I ever ate in my entire life. And the period just came back effortlessly. The hormonal healing that I experienced after the period came back, I felt like extended a full year, which is why I was sleeping more than ever, which is why I was not able to really move my body. I was just tired. I wanted to sleep. I wanted to slow down. I would say give it a full year. For PCOS, though, I see in your comment, there is so much hope to heal it completely, to reverse it completely with a high-fat carnivore diet. I would look into Dr. Elizabeth Bright and Dr. Robert Kiltz for sources of knowledge. But you're on the right track. Keep us posted. Okay, next stage. I like your carnivore bread and I want to try it, but it contains baking powder. Is there a substitute because baking powder usually contains cornstarch? Yes. In fact, I have that ready for everyone who wants a natural homemade baking powder. You can do it yourself. I dropped it in the chat. And you basically just mix cream of tartar, okay? Sift it with some baking soda. And that's it. You can just store and cool in a dry place. I actually got this tip from a subscriber. She emailed me. So thank you, Jeanette. All right, let's keep going. Big toe. I may have early stage cirrhosis. My stools are pale to clay colored sometimes. Do you think I can still fix this, Phil?
Yeah, so this is all signs that your bile, either your bile production is decreased or your bile production is being obstructed by the liver damage. So when we're tackling the liver, we want to reverse insulin resistance because there's almost insulin resistance. We want to remove any toxins that you're doing. Absolutely no alcohol. You really need to make sure you're not on any medications that are metabolized by the liver that could be causing it. I would be very cautious about even alcohols that you are putting on your skin topically in any way. And these are all signs. Remember, the bile that comes out of your gallbladder is a byproduct of a healthy liver. And so your stools are pale to clay color because you're not making or releasing enough bile. So this is all part of the healing process. Our stools are brown to dark because of bile mixing with them. And so you're having dysfunction. But, just from what you wrote, I don't know if it's production or obstruction or just lack of functioning. So I would be doing um, priming, and if you come into the community, we can help you do that. We would do 6 days a week, or 6 meals a day, I'm sorry, with eating small meals and slowly increasing the fat until we can get you up to 3 fatty meals a day, and then go to 2 meals a day, because that's what helps insulin resistance the most, and doing time restricted eating to a 6-hour window. But you would want to work up to that over a period of about 2 months. So if you want to join SBG Challenge, we could probably help you with that quite a bit. But you need to really get on this and remove any toxins and make sure you're addressing whatever's causing all of this. Okay.
Thank you, Phil. Let's keep going. R. How should I deal with my doctor with LDL cholesterol? My blood pressure is down, and I am down 65 pounds, and I'm looking to drop 20 more pounds. I enjoy this way of eating. Phil.
Sorry. It's great that you've lost 65 pounds. And, LDL cholesterol is not the only thing in the world that your doctor should be focused on. So I made a video with Bella about 1.5 years ago, and maybe Lindy can drop that in the chat. The very first interview I did with Bella, and I really talk about that specific thing. And I think it's helpful to know, you want to get metabolically healthy, you should be focused on getting your triglycerides down to 100 or less. Anything under 150 is a great start. Your HDL cholesterol greater than 50. And if you've got those two numbers and you're losing weight, you should encourage your doctor to celebrate your progress and not get so concerned about the LDL alone, and just give you more time to get better fat adapted. Okay? And thanks, Lindy, for putting that in the chat.
Perfect. All right. Tom and Nina says, Hi, Phil. Hi, Alyssa. Jumping through another hoop next week to have my connective tissue disorder diagnosed. This is a vascular specialist that's going to run valve sonogram in my legs and abdomen. Should I be asking for anything else?
Yeah. And Nina, I answered in the chat that, if they've not done any connective tissue biopsy, you might ask them, is that something that you should have done? Because I think you have an Ehlers-Danlos syndrome from getting to know you, and it would be very, very helpful to know whether you do or whether you don't. And I'm really glad you're seeing a vascular specialist, because that's a great idea, and I hope everything comes out well. But I'm impressed with how much healing you've already had.
Perfect. Coach Alyssa, what are your thoughts on honey?
Well, it's definitely not on Lion Diet. And it's debated whether or not it's considered to be on carnivore diet. Because sure, it comes from a bee, which has a face, and but it's also, well, Phil, don't you usually say it's bee vomit? Or I mean, so I don't know. I think that if we were to take a cow, for example, if they chew up the grass and vomit it out, sorry to be gross, that wouldn't make it carnivore, in my opinion. So I vote
It
no.
would be vomited grass.
Yeah. So I'm to each their own. And if there was like, anything sweet that you maybe want to have every once in a while, is it less harmful potentially than, some highly processed sugars out there? Then sure, yeah. But I don't really think it's gonna bring you any health benefits.
I always tell carnivores that give yourself 90 days as carnivore. And if you want to try something that's on the edge, that's in the gray zone, go ahead and try it. But only make that change in your life after you've gotten some healing and see what happens. If you're
Sure.
like my dad, I got my dad off everything but carnivore for 60 days, and we introduced one food a week, and the second food he wanted to reintroduce was onions. And as I said, he flared up immediately with his polymyalgia rheumatica, which caused intense weakness and pain in his shoulders and neck. And it was in hours. It wasn't a day later or 2 days later. It was with hours. So, you got to do what you do, but give yourself some healing first before you start experimenting. I think that's why we're different than keto. The keto community is always looking for something to hack with. In the carnivore community, we like to focus on elimination first and then consider if you really must introduce something, do it in a scientific way for you so that you'll know if it's something that's causing you discomfort or bringing back a problem that you've gotten rid of.
Thank you both. Beautifully said. Question for everyone watching. Please comment your answer. Do you consider honey carnivore? Yes or no? Okay. So T-Pain Golf, welcome. I'm going alone. Oh, should I be going alone or getting help /coach/community or doctor on board? I'm week 6 into carnivore. It feels like I'm doing okay solo, and this person is learning through YouTube. What are your thoughts, Alyssa?
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people who do okay just learning from YouTube and going it alone. But we also do get a lot of people who come to the community and they say, I've already been on carnivore for a year and I just don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And they say, for example, I've been doing OMADs all this time and I'm still gaining weight, things like this. That's the most common thing we hear. And it's like we spot it immediately. What's wrong with that? And so it's like, oh man, if they just would have found a community sooner, if they just would have been here, whether you need to ask your own personal questions and get personalized help, or if just sitting in the Zoom meetings we have almost every day in the community, you learn so much from everybody else who's asking questions, but you also have the chance to raise your hand and ask a question, and you get to see face to face and talk back and forth with the coaches, Dr. Phil, Bella, and Coach Raymond and Todd Bockness. These are all like so many amazing team members who are here to help you. So I vote for community.
Love it. Phil, what do you vote for?
Well, all I can do is share my own testimony. I did 90 days of carnivore by myself, kind of hit a stall, and I was trying to reverse metabolic syndrome. And I heard Todd Bockness, who's a member of the SBG, talking on Homestead Hal channel about priming, and I got very intrigued by that. And it sounded like exactly what I need to do because my metabolism had just stalled. And I really wanted to reverse metabolic syndrome. And so I joined SBG, became a member just like everyone else does, went through the program for 120 days. And it was, I didn't think community was something I needed, but the people that I have met and the inspiration that you get from our weekly calls every Saturday, everyone shares new wins in their lives since they've become carnivore, and we call them non-scale victories. And that has been the most motivating thing in my life. And I love to go to that meeting because hearing the testimonies of people that are actually healing and solving things that they never even thought of that needed to be solved. I mean, my prescriptions and my glasses went down by a third my first year as carnivore and went down another third. So I'm on 2/3 less correction on my eyeglasses this year than I was 2 years ago. And who would have thought that? And we're seeing people with all kinds of things that as a doctor, I would have told you in my office a couple decades ago that no, this is chronic. You're going to have to live with this. And I'm seeing it reversing. So just remember, a community is a great place to get the proof pill that you need to keep going.
Wow. Thank you both. I want to just put this up. I see it from Shasa. Thank you for putting this in the chat. So Shasa says this community is life-changing, carnivore diet improving. If you're wondering, do it. So much support and brilliance, which cannot be overstated. You will not regret it. Shasa, thank you so much for this shiny, shiny review of our community. I truly am so proud of, firstly, the members that make up this community. That is the most special part of the Steak and Butter Gang. And if you don't know already, it's not just the beautiful members and the coaches, my team. It's also wonderful guest speakers that I invite on to answer member questions every single week. So we do really work hard to cover all aspects of what it takes to succeed and stick to a carnivore diet for at least 90 days. Okay, so I'll just put up the banner one more time. We do need to wrap up soon. If you want to check out the details or directly join the challenge, it's sbgmeetup.com. And yes, the $1,000 cash prize plus the rest of the smaller cash prizes are given away every single month. Okay, every single month. So if that doesn't motivate you, I'm not sure what else will. You've got a whole team rooting for you too. So we are here on these Zoom calls. It really is so motivating. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's do one more question.
We do
All
have
right.
a super chat.
Oh, yes, Thomas. Hi, Thomas. I appreciate you. You come to every single live stream. We see you. Thank you for the super chat. He just says, thank you all for being so great. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas.
We love you, Thomas.
We love you. Yay. Okay, Phil, Mediwan wants to know, what's the watch that you're using to track your sleep?
Okay, so it's called a Withings. It's a smartwatch, and I don't know if you can see it. It's very stylish. It's very analog looking, but it can
Nice.
do EKGs. It can do oxygen saturations. It monitors my sleep, monitors my pulse, monitors my temperature while I'm sleeping, and does my steps. And I get it's integrated to my smartphone, so my text messages come over it, and I can read them. So it's not as complicated as an Apple Watch. So it's much cheaper.
Phenomenal. I love that. Hey, let me know if you're in SBG already. I love asking this every time just to see who shows up from SBG to support these live streams. Live stream versus SBG, not the same thing, right? So we've got the community and then we've got these public for free live streams. So let's see how many SBG members are watching today. Put it in the comments and the chat. And our last question of the night is from Kay. Coach Alyssa, does this mean I can't have butter on a lion diet? Is it okay?
Yeah, so technically butter is not on a lion diet, so you can swap out for those fats I mentioned earlier, like tallow, you know, bone marrow, which is very much like butter, and suet, beef fat trimmings. But I will say that there's plenty of people who do lion diet plus butter. Still, you're going to get so much more healing from that if you are, and you'll find out if you're cutting out pork, chicken, eggs, dairy, you're going to find out if you let go of all those other things and you keep in just lion diet plus butter and you still receive some healing, then that's a big enough experiment. And then later on down the line, if you want to just let go of that last little bit of butter to really, really tune it in, then you can do that. But yeah, I would encourage you. I think that lion diet plus butter is a better experiment than no lion diet at all.
Beautifully said. Well, this wraps up our Friday night live stream today. But again, we do this every single week. Okay. And I just want to shout out some of our SBG members joining us today. I appreciate you for making the time to support on the live stream. Thank you, Shasa, Sean, Lori, Jaloma. Thank you, Melanie. Good to see you, Melanie. She's on the team. Target Prime Rib, T-Pain Golf, Groovy Lisa, Tammy. Oh, wow. So many SBG members. Art is joining tonight. We can't wait to welcome you in, Art. So excited. Okay. I really want to say all of these names, but there are so many. It's unending. Dawn, Cheryl, Linda, Joseph, Tammy, Shelly, Lauren. Thank you guys so much. Simone, thank you all. We love you guys so much. Have a beautiful night. Eat that fatty meat, eat the butter, eat the lion diet, and we'll see you next week. Have a beautiful weekend. Love you guys.
Bye, everyone.